Thanks for tuning in live to Toronto Business Summit, the largest business marketing event in Canada. And now your host, Max Carter.
On the last session we had with you, we discussed one of the ways to bring new customers into your business. But there's three ways to grow a business. One is to bring in new customers. One is to increase the transaction amount per customer and increase the frequency of the transactions. I know you introduced me into these three little fundamentals. Can you
yeah, they were, and I got them from a guy named Jay Abraham. Great resource, but that's the biggest takeaway I think people can take from it is there's three ways to grow your business. Yeah.
And what are the best ways to actually, well, let's focus on the last two because SEO kind of covered. The first one is bringing new customers into your business by doing content marketing and all that. Increasing the transaction amount and increasing the frequencies of transactions. What are the ways to do that?
So just to sort of say something before we begin that conversation. Yep. The three ways, in case you didn't catch, the three ways to grow your business. The first one is to bring more traffic to your website or get more people to walk into your store. More traffic is it's customer acquisition. How do I acquire more customers is the question you ask in that first step, right? The second step in growing, or the second way to grow your business, according to Jay Abraham, is how do I increase the dollar amount of the transaction that takes place? And that could be Biggie Size Me. That could be Whataburger. Like you go to Whataburger and you buy a burger and they give you the large, you get the largest drink and fries or something like that. That's the upsells that they provide to try to make the transaction just a bit more higher, right? The dollar amount. So that's a goal that you have to think about is how do I bring value while simultaneously increasing what they're spending with me, right? So, and I'll give you examples of these. The third one is how do I get a customer to come back? What do I have in place? What mechanism do I have in place for them to think about me or come back to buy a product or service that I provide, right? An example, as a real estate agent, how do I get the same person to continue to work with me? Well, you treat them well, you're patient with them, you take them to view different homes, maybe invite them for dinner, a congratulatory celebration to say, hey, we're happy that you got your home. Maybe give them cookies that smell great in their home when they first go to see their house. Whatever the case may be, right? You try to really make the experience something that they're wanting to come back to again. That's becoming more important now, more than it ever was before. The experience. Most millennials, when they're spending money, and I know they're too young now maybe to buy a house, but some aren't. But at the point where they start to become serious buyers in the industry, in the marketplace, they're going to be looking for experiences more than just material. So businesses need to start thinking about how can we make the experience of purchasing a product wonderful, right, for the buyer. So essentially, the idea behind how to get customers to come back is you either have like a recurring income model where they have to pay you every month, maybe like a light bill or your cell phone bill. You want to keep your stuff right. So big companies have gotten used to, hey, how do I do this, right? And so they have phone plans, or maybe you have someone who comes and cuts your yard every month on a monthly basis. And then you think about ways to sort of have a recurring setup with your business. I know a person who sells a journal that helps you sort of become proficient at accomplishing one really big goal using many steps in a period of 30 days, if I'm not mistaken. But what they do is they say, hey, once you finish with this one, why don't we just set you up on a subscription plan where we send you one of these journals every single month. So you don't have to worry about it. And we charge you less for doing that. See, so there's ways around getting people to come back to buy from you, right? Obviously, it's very difficult in some areas. Like if you're going to sell a car, how do I get someone to buy a car every month? That's going to be tough, right? So you might not do it in the car industry, but if you keep contact with them and you ask for referrals and you tell them to recommend their friends, then you're building a relationship with your customer, right? It's not just, hey, I have something to sell, you have money, and I need to buy a tank, so give me your money. That's, it's no longer just that. It's how can I bring an experience that is memorable so that you can continue to refer friends to me. So the first one we talked about, it's just acquiring customers through the process of getting more traffic to your site or your store, right? SEO is one way to do it, but advertising is another way too to do it. Like Ryan Dice once said, why would I want to, get a field and harvest rice over a long period of time when I can just go to the store and buy rice, right? So why, in some case, in an odd way, he's saying, why would I want to do SEO when I can just go buy traffic, right, and see if something works immediately? So acquire, and believe it or not, of the 3 ways to grow your business, the first one is the toughest because you have to get your name out there. You have to get the customer interested in you. It's better to work with your current customers to, 1, get them to buy more often, and 2, increase the transaction size than it is to acquire a brand new customer, right?
It's tough, it's exhausting, and it's costly, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So your goal as a business owner is, how do I maximize the customer value, as Ryan and the digital marketer team talk about? How do I optimize the value of a customer in the long run with what I have to sell, what I have to offer, and what my system provides in value? So yeah, those are the 3 ways to kind of grow your business. And I think personally, thinking about the recurring income model or revenue model is probably one of the business models that lends itself more to providing one of those 3 things in a business altogether. So that's, I guess I answered your question. Sorry, I went a little long-winded there.
No, and I think like right now the companies are too concentrating into going out and finding new customers and spending majority of their time and resources doing that instead of building relationship with their existing customers and asking for more sales from the existing customers. Maybe trying to find other products or services to complement their core offering. And I know this is there's a term called sales funnels, which is a funnel which takes cold traffic, cold customers, cold leads, and turns them into
customers. Yeah,
customers, and the site
hopefully repeat customers.
Repeat. So how does that work, and how do you set it up?
Okay, so one thing you have to understand to begin with is that with a recurring business model, or even let's just talk about traffic. Like I think the quickest way to get traction for a product that you might have is partner up with other people who have already had attraction in the industry. Let's say that I had a product that I wanted to bring to market. I would probably go to a really big giant who might be able to sell that product at a commission, right? Like if I wanted to bring a line of dolls into the marketplace, I might go to Walmart to see if they might partner with me. I don't have to worry about getting the traffic. Walmart can worry about getting the traffic, and I just hope my product sells so they continue to buy more to stock shelves on Walmart, right? So just, I would say, think of that a bit. Try to think about the giants in your industry that have traction, that have an audience already, and partner up with them too. Partner up with them, build a relationship with them so that they send you business and maybe you send them business as well. That's always a really good kind of a good place to start to really launch your business to the next level. Because then, what you're really trying to do is get to a point where your product is being used enough that people start to notice it by word of mouth alone, right? But you have to get to that point. And so one good way to do that is to leverage the shoulders of other giants, if you will, and the audience that they have. So a funnel, just to kind of talk a little bit about funnels, the analogy that I like to use, and I first heard it with Ryan Dice as well, is that it is that of a relationship. In a relationship, you don't just go, as a guy, you don't just go up to a girl and say, hey, you know what, Gallup has a study that says 80% of women want to have children. Well, if that's true, why don't we go back to my place and start get an early start? You're going to get slapped in the face, right? So that's just not how it works. You have to really build a relationship, take it one step at a time. And as that study showed, some study, I think it was Gallup, who put a study of why relationships, how is it that some relationships last longer? It's the ones that take the steps and take their time with each individual step of intimacy. And so that said, same goes with a business relationship. You don't want the salesy, sleazy guy in your face trying to sell you a car. You want someone who's willing to take the time to experience with you the process of buying one, right? Let's go, yeah, don't worry about it. Let's go test drive this car. Let's go try, hey, no problem. Let's just do whatever you like to get you into the right car. I'm not going to push something on you. That's a better message than saying, hey, we got a deal on this car. You get $7,000 back if you buy this one, get this one, get this one, this one. It's just not a good message, right? So the idea is to build a relationship. A funnel does that. A funnel allows you to get people at the top of the funnel coming in. But how do you do that? How do I get traction that way? You provide value first. The idea is you sell people what they want, but when they buy, you give them what they need, right? Yep. So if someone is looking for SEO services, maybe all they need is, you know what, let's just do an SEO boost on your website. Instead of having to spend $1,500, $2,000, $10,000 a month on SEO, let me just go in there and see what a quick boost might do, right? It's a small dollar amount. It might provide a victory pretty quickly. And if that does, then you have a customer who's going to be with you for a long time. Yep. So think about how you can provide value from the get-go. Whether it's free, you give them something that is a solution to a problem that they have, or two, you provide something, a low-cost offer that allows you to show them that you're a good person, that your company is good, that you do good work, and deserve my further business, right? So the idea is to slowly get into the let this person go through these loops of understanding that you're a good business owner, that your business does good work, and that I should continue to do business with you. So there's 4 steps, as you guys, as some of you may have heard from other digital marketer, Ryan Dice, or even other people who talk about the funnel setup. Is you have your lead magnet, right? Your lead magnet is meant to attract people with a very specific solution to a very specific problem, as instant gratification as possible. So you want to try to make sure that solution is in their hands immediately after they opt in or give you their contact information. A tripwire, which is how do I change the psychology of the relationship from that of subscriber and authority, which authority is what you're trying to be, from subscriber and authority to that of buyer and seller. I have to switch that. That's what step 2 is, the tripwire, where you sell something that's a low offer but provides a small victory for the customer, and then you move on to the next step. Once they purchase from you, you got them. They're a buyer. They trust you. They've gone on the second date with you. They're willing to kind of go steady even. Let's call ourselves boyfriend and girlfriend. They're at that level now, right? So the next step is the core offer. You have to then say, well, what we did for you was a good little victory, but if you sign up for our plan, you actually get the same victory over and over and over again. That is, if your core offer is a recurring business or a recurring subscription, you get the same victory over and over again at a cheaper price if you sign up on a month-to-month basis with us, right? That's the core offer. That's a good one. It's kind of just a progressive step in the right direction, and you're getting people from having had that problem to solving the problem to now being able to provide peace of mind that comes with solving that problem on a frequent basis, right? And then anything you might have as a service on top of that is now, with the 4th step, a profit maximizer. So you have your lead magnet, tripwire, core offer, and your profit maximizer. And so people should think about that. They should think about the 3 ways to grow a business using a funnel, whether it's offline or online, because you can do this offline as well as online. And that's pretty much it. And I mean, I would say that if you can start off with those 2 things in your mind, the rest is easy. Because imagine if you had an offer, a lead magnet, that was really bad. It wasn't instant. It was very vague in its promise to a very broad problem. And you spent money getting traffic, or you spent months trying to get ranked for that offer or that value, and then it doesn't work. That sucks, right? So start immediately. Provide the value to a very specific problem. Let it be in their hands immediately, or provide a small victory as quickly as possible, so that there's confidence building happening there. There's trustworthiness occurring in the relationship, right? And those are the fundamental things you need to then move forward with selling your higher priced items or your continuity programs.
So
that's the gist.
What could be an example of a funnel for example, for brick and mortar business?
Okay. I would say, let's take an example. Okay, well here's a good one. Like for instance, there's a guy who does remodeling, and they remodel bathrooms, they add rooms, they add they do. I believe on top of that, like if you wanted to do decking, things like that, they do remodeling in general for your house. Now, if I go to your house and I say, hey, let me do this humongous project on your house, we'll add a room, we'll add the deck, we'll completely remodel the inside, we'll take the carpet out, we'll put wood, if I did that and try to sell you on that, and I said, hey, by the way, the bill's $100,000, you're going to be like, get out of my house, man. Get out of here. But if instead I said, hey, we want to give you a full day to spend with an interior designer to give you ideas of how to remodel your home, whether you're trying to sell it or you're just trying to make it better because you're going to be there for another 10 years, and it's only going to be $99 to spend a day with an expert, that may bode better, right? And then you go through the process of going there for a day, talking about visualizing this, doing that. Maybe I have a computer that I can mock up a 3D version of what the remodeling will do. And by the end of the session, I said, hey, this was great, this was fun, it was a beautiful experience to spend time with an expert. And on top of that, it also could cost you, this is kind of the estimate of what everything would cost you, whether you go with us or whether you go with someone else. But the likelihood of them going with you is high because you just spent the whole day with them, right? Yeah. So I mean, that's just one example.
So that's a lead magnet, right? You would offer something, or that's a tripwire already.
Yeah, that would be the tripwire because it's a goal. And most businesses, it's tough to be like, for instance, a pest control company. I'm not, hey, sign up for my list so I can give you the 5 different, like for instance, enter your zip code. Let's see what pests you have in your neighborhood. To see the results, you have to opt in, and we'll send you the report to your email. You may get a few people that way, but a lot of people are kind of standoffish because of that, right? Yeah. So a lot of companies immediately go into the tripwire offer. How can I just offer something that will solve your problem immediately? If you're looking for lawn care, we'll do the first one free. That's an offer, right? If I do roofing, but I'm trying to do it based on giving you free lawn mowing services, then that might be a way to do it. You have to kind of be creative in how do I get to my customer. The customer never changes. Your customer is there. How can I get in front of that person with a lead magnet? But in most cases, businesses almost automatically opt to offer something so that there's a transaction, and at a lower value price point. At a lower price point, that's more easily done, right? But if I'm selling you a complete remodel for $100,000, that's going to be tougher. Mm-hmm. So the idea there is offer the tripwire to give them a small victory, so that they can feel better about them moving forward with a bigger project with you. Yeah. Does that make sense?
So, for example, for a remodeling company, a lead magnet could be a free estimate. Tripwire could be a day with a designer. Mm-hmm. And then your co-offer basically are your services, but then you can have upsells of offering additional services or additional materials. Maybe that you provide premium materials, or maybe you're an affiliate for a appliance company, which you can sell as well to make a profit.
Yeah, you can. So what you can do is you can do all the remodeling, interior remodeling or adding of additional buildings. And then if on top of that you also provide services for external, right? You can have an external setup to remodel something externally, or even landscaping, or you can just partner up, like you said, with those companies to maybe get a commission or some referral income that way as well. And then you keep a good relationship with other people who will send customers to you.
Right. So I know, Tony, you're a big fan of recurring revenue businesses and to having that customer pay you monthly, as most of us do for our cable TV, cell phone bills. and all that. What are some example of recurring revenue models for small businesses? And I know a lot of people watching us right now think, oh, the recurring revenue isn't for my business. What do you think of that?
Okay, so it's interesting you say that, because I remember having a talk locally where we posed the question after talking about recurring income. I said, hey, is there anyone here who thinks that this isn't for their business, that they can't set up a recurring income? And then we had a few people raise their hands. One of the examples was a CPA. He says, no, we're in the tax accounting company. I just don't see how that's a recurring setup. To some of you, that might be a blaring example of how it could work. But for some of you, it's like, well, how would it work? How do I set up a recurring business that way? Well, I told her a good way to for instance, if CPAs, and they don't do this often, but if CPAs offered a free, one time, let's do your taxes for you, that's a lead magnet, right? The next step is if there's ways to enhance that experience, you might be able to then get them as a recurring yearly customer for taxes, right? But then on top of that, what if we could, for business owners, let's say that we went into the business industry, not just regular employees. If we specifically went into the taxes for businesses, we then can say, hey, but we have accounting, bookkeeping services as well. You start adding more products and more services that you provide so that you can, one, increase the cost of what they're spending, maybe even add a recurring service to that on a monthly basis. Oh, hey, we can take care of all your paychecks, we can take care of all your books, we can take care of all your processing, we can take care of all your filing taxes for your employees, all of those things. If you can relieve all of those headaches, you now have a business where you can be recurringly making money from them, maybe not monthly, but definitely frequently, right? The third way to grow your business isn't how do I make it a monthly recurring business? It's how do I get them to come back often? It's frequency, right? Yeah. So instead of coming to me once, they come to me 8 times in a year or something like that, right? But you have to think about that in the business that you have. For instance, I'm going to give you one that's really tough. In the industry of pest control, you have a problem with ants around your house, right? You want them to come out, you want them to spray, you want them to fix it, goodbye, you're gone, right? Well, in some cases, I've seen pest control companies get smart about this to provide value on a monthly basis. If you pay $100 and some odd dollars every three months, every quarter, we actually come out every other week or every 2-3 weeks to do another layer of pest control, whatever it is, in order so that they don't come back. It's a preventative measure, right? And so that's one way to do it. You can provide preventative measures to have some sort of follow-up continuity program in a market that's really tough to do it in. So let me see, another example would be, this one is on the spot, so let's see if I can come up with a good idea here. But the one that I was thinking about is, what if you need foundation repair on your home, right? That's a one-time thing. This is on the fly here because I don't know what I'm going to say next. But let's say that you have foundation issues and you know you're going to need someone to permanently come in and repair your foundation. There's 2 ways to do it. One is, I think they call it piering, or it's when they have sort of hydraulic, but they look like hydraulic bars to kind of keep this to one, level it up again and keep it like that permanently. And what they do is they dig around your home, like a lot, just digging around the home in order to install those bars. And then there's another one, I think it's called, well, I forget what it's called, but what they do is they literally dig into the bottom of the base of the foundation, and they spray in something into the ground so that it levels certain areas of your foundation up.
Yeah.
Now, this happens once and you're good to go, right? For the most part, because I think in that second option, a possibility of things not working correctly, and then you got to come out and redo it or something like that. But in most cases, it's a one-time thing, right? But I would venture to say, even though they are a customer that paid you once for a foundation, What if I could team up with, and this is where I'm starting, my juices are starting to flow. What if I can think of everything in that house to connect with other business owners, right? To provide value under my brand. And I can just, for instance, if I say, hey, look, we fixed your foundation, but in the process of fixing your foundation, it's going to re-level your house. What that means is that you have some painting issues. You might have paint that chips. You might have cracks that happen, things that happen whenever you shift an entire house back to where it was supposed to be, right? Let us go in there and fix the boarding, the baseboards. Let's fix the painting. Let's fix the cracks. Let's repaint certain areas. You can partner up with other people to make that transaction experience in that year be more valuable than just if I was going to fix your foundation and that's it, right? Yeah. So this is an example of just thinking beyond. It doesn't just have to be your business. Partner up with other people that you can get a commission on to help this customer have the best experience they could possibly have in the process of repairing their foundation and then making sure that everything inside looks beautiful in the process. When you have to dig up all that stuff around the house and then put the sand back, like the dirt back there, what are you going to do next? You need some sod, you need some grass to put on there, right? So connect with someone else who might be able to provide more value on that line as a line item in your proposal so that they get everything inclusive or something like that, right? So just think about ways to increase the transaction. Now, on the long term, might they be a customer? Not for foundation repair, but they might be a customer for future paintings, they might be a customer for future lawn care, and that's when making those valuable connections with other people might work. Or if you yourself start providing those services as well, it's a good lead-in to that business, right? It's a little tougher because a foundation repair is 10 grand, whereas a lawn mowing service may be a couple tens of dollars every month, right? But that's what I would do. It's some industries are harder than others, and in some cases, really, some businesses may not focus on frequency. There's a good thing that there's 3 ways to grow your business. On the off chance that frequency isn't a thing that you can have in your business, you can always think about how to increase the transaction size by making partnerships. And then 2, on the front end, how do I get more customers through referrals? How do I, now building my partnerships up, get them to also refer business to us? So that's what I would think. It's a tough business to get into when you're trying to make money in the long run or make it more of a recurring setup. But you just have to think around that. You're a business owner. Come on, get your hands dirty. Make some partnerships. Make it happen.
And most importantly, provide value during that initial stage. Either lead magnet or tripwire or core offer. Make sure you do a good job that all the recurrent transactions end up with your company. And
I'll give you a good example of a good company that follows all of these 3. AppSumo. You know AppSumo, right? Okay, so my good friend Noah Kagan is the founder of that company, and what they do is they provide deals to professionals and entrepreneurs. Whether it's a SaaS application, whether it's a course, whether it's some cool little thing that you can use as a business owner or professional, they try to get deals for you on the daily. Like, these guys are daily looking for deals to promote. And so they bring you offers, and when you buy one and you get a small victory because you're like, yes, I totally got a good deal. I don't know if I'm going to use this, but I totally got a good deal. You then say, hey, if ever, I'm on their list, so if they ever send another deal, I might buy that. And so these guys are consistently bringing offers. The more products you have, the more items you can sell, really, the more infinite your business becomes, right? So making those partnerships, having more services, providing more products, these are ways to continually get these people to buy from you over time. A good example of this is Amazon. Mm-hmm. Amazon used to be just books. Now look at what they do. Yeah. Not only are they selling customers instant video or books or any product that you could probably imagine under the sun, but they also provide back-end products to people like the government, like providing secure cloud management or cloud services to big companies, right? They recently took away a contract that IBM had for such a long time because Amazon now provides faster and better technology. So it's not just about providing one thing, although you want to start off by becoming an authority in one thing. But then after you start making cash flow and some positive cash flow, you can then start doing other things, venturing into other companies. So if I was a foundation repair company, and then I had enough money to maybe buy out someone who had a lawn care service business, it just makes sense. It makes sense to me to do that, to acquire things that a homeowner may purchase over the course of a lifetime. And why not it be you? Why not you grow from one specific thing to many, and then just perfect these systems over time so that you become a company that provides valuable home care services at reasonable prices with an awesome experience. Why not?
Exactly. Even just an example I just thought of. Even a dietitian can, from free recipes, healthy recipes you can cook in 5 minutes, to fitness classes, to partner up to provide fitness classes, to even opening up a restaurant. And there's just possibilities endless. You just have to get your creative juices flowing.
And you have to start somewhere. Exactly. And you have to be an authority in one place first.
Yes.
It's one of those divide and conquer approaches, right? I don't want to be the next Amazon. I want to be the next book selling company online. That might be targeting a very small portion of their business, and then maybe seeming the authority in that place before expanding to other areas. And if you look at companies at the top level, like in these Fortune 500 companies, a lot of them are talking mergers, acquisitions. Yeah. That's the big news in their space. Why can't the small guys do it too? If they're doing it and it's working for them, we should be doing it too.
And even Amazon founder was once at the just meetup, and he just came, and that's what he said. Oh, I want to discuss an idea of an online bookstore I want to open. That was the start.
That was the start. And they weren't profitable for, I think, almost 7 years, right, before they became profitable. So in some cases, actually in that case too, it was a delayed gratification. And to some extent, you have to provide value first. Yeah. If you can't provide value first, you're not going to be the person that has a sustainable long-term business. If what you're looking for is sustainable long-term business, you have to bring value first. And then don't think about the instant gratification, think about delayed gratification. And that is what Jeff Bezos talks about all the time, is he just waited. He was patient. And the rewards came after a certain amount of time. So, yeah.
Change your customer's life and they'll change yours. That's a
there you go.
Quote I recently read in a interesting book. All right, man, it's been a great chat. Thank you so much for joining us today. In the show notes, I'll leave more information for our viewers to learn about you and connect. And thank you.
All right, man. Take care. Have a good one. Thanks for having me.